promised you I looked at some defensive tackles today before we came on the show. I'm looking at one technique, guys. Gavin, I need you to help me with some money.
Okay.
If you're so inclined to do so.
I'd love to, Brian.
Okay. Dayquon Jones is a defensive tackle, a one technique, a nose with the Buffalo Bills. His age is 32. He missed 10 games last year with a torn pec.
Uh-oh.
So we need to kind of keep an eye on stuff like that. Do we have a guy that maybe a little bit injury prone? Is that something that's going to happen in the future?
Blue Star Special.
And he's a 32-year-old guy. But I will tell you this. He plays that heavy one technique or that nose, which is right on that shoulder of the center. And I'll tell you what, he is a hard guy to deal with right there, Dayquon Jones. And he's not a heavy-footed player at all for his size. He could quickly get rid of blockers. I like the fact that he can work up the field. I'm trying to find a guy, a 318 to 320-pound man, that's a little bit more rangy, a little bit more active, a little bit more up the field. I don't want a guy that's grass is dying under his feet, that he's staying in the same spot. I want a guy that's got a little bit more range, a little bit outside the tackle box, a little bit more up the field. Dayquon Jones is that type of guy. And
14% pressure rate in 2023 from a one technique. That's phenomenal.
There you go.
They say about Dayquon Jones, muscle compromises 95% of his body, and it's said that the remaining 5% is made up of the souls of the quarterbacks he's sacked.
This guy can quickly get rid of blockers. He can work up the field. This guy doesn't labor at all when he plays. He fights across the blocker's face quickly. I mean, when you fight across the face, you're in that technique, you're outside, and all of a sudden, blocker engages, boom, you're across his face, and now you're up the field. He doesn't stay blocked. The coaches will keep this guy on the field in pass rush situations, Dawson, and I like that about this guy.
Well, I like that about him as well. I'm just shocked that the projections 1 year and $5.5 million for such a beast.
Here we go.
Why so cheap?
Might be because of the pec. I don't know. Maybe there's an injury history completely there that we have to dive into. But this guy, he moves like he's kind of that three technique, that tackle that plays on the outside shoulder and is up the field and is active and all that. So Dayquon Jones, Buffalo Bills.
Got a fit face.
Yeah. This guy is a powerful player. Okay, he can knock blockers back with his movement. I like this guy a lot. Okay, the next guy I took a peek at was DJ Reader from the Cincinnati Bengals. He's 29 years old. I like the initial quickness off the snap with this guy. I think at times he'll struggle with his balance a little bit. And when I mean struggle with your balance is when you engage, are you on the ground? Are guys controlling you where you're falling? You're going down to a knee? Are you overextending yourself? He'll struggle a little bit with his balance at time. I will say this, though. He does a really good job of holding up blockers. He is not going to let blockers get off and get up onto that second level and allow his guys behind him to get blocked. It's just he's a tough guy for that. I don't think he has great range. I think there's times where he could be a little bit hit and miss when he gets stuck on the line of scrimmage. And I call it a little bit of a sluggish play to him. There's some moments where he will look kind of poor for 2 or 3 plays, and then all of a sudden 3 plays in a row he's drawn 2 holding calls and got a sack. That's the kind of player that this guy is. So maybe develop a little bit more with the consistency about the way he plays. But he is super, super, super strong in the way. He can be tough to deal with because of the power and the strength that he is able to play with right there.
When the Bengals brought him in 2021, they made him the highest paid nose tackle in the NFL, and he's projected to stay amongst the highest at 3 years and $45 million for that gentleman.
Yeah, so that might be a little rich for what Dallas might want to do.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was
hoping they would be there until Steve spoke today.
Yeah, Steve didn't give me much encouragement by what he was saying.
I think we want to go with option number 1 so far.
Yeah,
we're being realistic.
Yeah, I think with Dayquon Jones, I think that's a little bit better player than, and maybe a little bit better value than what DJ Reader is.
You think a better player too?
You know what? I think just because the way that he moves, they both play with a great deal of power. But I feel like, though, give me the guy that, like I said, that got a little bit more to his game as far as with the pass and also with the run. The next guy I looked at is Grover Stewart from the Indianapolis Colts. And Grover Stewart is a 30-year-old. This guy is a difficult cat to move once he hits the gap. He's around a 314 to 316 pound one technique. He plays with a lot of power. He will spin out of trouble. You will see him. I mean, he is a guy that's got a little bit of that, like he feels like he's going to get the double team, and then all of a sudden, man, he's spinning out of it to get away from the double team and then to get in on the play. I like that about him. I think he's got range to his game. I think he plays with some explosiveness. If you don't hit this guy square, it's a problem because he doesn't stay blocked. If you just try and half-man him, and when I mean half-man, if you just kind of hit his shoulder and hope that you can kind of pin him, that's not going to work on this guy. He's got that ability to kind of squeeze you down into the hole so that he can contain the run that way. He doesn't stay blocked. He can stack blockers at the point of attack. I love the way he squeezes the player, the blocker into him, and then he can choke the run that way. So a couple guys there that I really, really like. Ashawn Robinson was another guy that I looked at. I'll throw him in there. He's with the New York Giants. He's 28 years old. He's got a couple of really good quick steps off the ball. He's got the power that you like. He can hold blockers at the line of scrimmage. He's going to just get pushed with power as a pass rusher. He's got no pass rush moves at all. He can close down from the backside when he gets freed up. When he can run, he can do pretty good in that way. But it all has to be to the inside and not to the outside. He could be a little late off the ball, and he can be walled off. So I kind of got him as a throw-in guy if the others don't work out there. But the guy that I would like the best for the Dallas Cowboys, if they could go get that, would be Dayquon Jones from the Buffalo Bills. That would be my guy.
Okay, so Grover Stewart's another 3 years, 45, and then Ashawn Robinson is 1 year and 5.
Okay.
So you got a couple of one-year options in here and then some longer-term deals. It's interesting the older guys are actually in for the longer-term deals.
Longer-term deals, yeah.
I guess they've proven it over a sustained period of time, and the market expects them to be very desirable.